But what about the family? The parents though? Did they try and steer you in either way? Or
Oh man, my parents, I had, my mom was such an incredible superwoman because she just encouraged me so much to make me feel like I could do anything. And I love her for that because whenever I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to be in this pageant and I'm going to win next year and I'm going to do this and she never said, mm-hmm. She was like, that's right, baby, you can do it. Her energy and her belief in me was so strong and I didn't want to let her down. And at that time, my parents had gotten divorced and I really, Mom, I'm going to buy you a home and all these things I was able to do. And I'm so grateful. My dad was amazing. He was the opposite. He would challenge me because I had a girlfriend who her name was Kim, and incredible voice. At 14, I learned so much from her. Her parents, her dad had her in the studio. She sounded like Phyllis Hyman, beautiful
wow.
voice, songwriter, could write. And so she was my best friend. So I would just go, I would learn so much from her at 14, seeing her in the studio writing. And she was supposed to be getting a deal with Motown, but it never happened. And I don't know why I brought that up, but I guess talking about just being around talented people, and I don't know where I was going with that, but she was a big part of my childhood. So shout out to Kim, if you're listening. She really influenced me a lot as a writer too.
Yeah, and in what way? Because when I spoke with Darryl Simmons, he says the same thing about Kenny. How in high school, seeing how talented Kenny was, that he just gleaned to that, so it just sort of pulled him. So how did Kim sort of help you in that?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you said that. That was the connection. What I was trying to say was that my dad would say to me, I like Kim's voice. I like Kim's doing. So that's how my dad would challenge me to be better. So
Wow.
my mother was the opposite. And I'm glad because I didn't need two parents that were, you had to have the polar opposite,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Good and the yin and the yang. So, but yeah, having, like I said, a friend like that was just so gifted. If you're smart enough and not, a hater, you'll just appreciate it and learn. So I just sat there and I really just soaked it all up. And even, that being able to listen and learn and just be respectful of the gift took me a long way because I knew what it looked like. I knew how to get to it, and I knew that I was just grateful to be in that place. You know what I mean? To have her dad investing in her at a young age, and for me to be around her, seeing her do all of this. So once I can see it, then I can do it. And that
Mm.
was very important. And then I was like, okay, that's how you do it. So I just say I learned so much. And then after that, I wound up getting in a group, Switch, for the group Switch, Bobby DeBarge and
Oh, are you kidding me?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they were signed to Motown and they discovered a group I was in called Legacy. And I was the last person to come in. I was one of the lead singers and they took us under their tutelage of training too. So um like I said, I was just prepared by such great talent because Switch and their harmonies, and
Mm.
they would have us singing, all kinds of music, jazz and jazz fusion, and it's funny how that kind of helped me when I got with Jeff Lorber because I didn't really consider myself a jazz artist, but obviously something was in there that I was able to sing with one of the greats, but that was definitely my start was being in that group and then learning from Switch as well how to write songs and being in the studio seeing them sing. They'll never, you've heard of, the Switch catalog, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, how
yeah.
was Bob? Did Bobby? Did he? Because I know when I interviewed Elle, he was telling me how Bobby sort of got him to out of his comfort zone. But how did he get any
Well,
advice
we
from
didn't.
Bobby?
Right. Well, Jody, the drummer, was the one who signed us in our group, but
Okay.
we would. I wouldn't say we were just able to go to the studio and see them
Wow.
recording the vocals. So I didn't really work with Bobby up close or personally, but I was able to see how they wrote and how they recorded, and it was the harmonies and just pure voices. It was something. It was definitely a blessing.
I guess that's one thing most people might not be aware of, that you are a songwriter as well as a singer. And so, how are you learning the craft of songwriting through before your Warner Brothers debut?
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of the songwriters that was he sang a lot like Elle, and he worked his name was Michael Norfleet, and he's a brilliant guy, keyboard player. So I started writing songs, and as with Legacy, we wrote a lot of songs. So I understood there was another female in the group who was an amazing songwriter and vocalist too. So just really building it from, melodic structures and subject matters, and just real simplicity. And that's what you'll hear a lot in that switch sound. It's just the melodic, the melody is just so memorable, and the way it follows the keyboards. So I started, learning from there. And then my first song I wrote was for Stephanie Mills.
Wow.
Yes. And so she was, like I said, an idol, because I performed her songs from The Wiz when I was
Okay.
in high school. And it was a pretty big production. And yeah, so to land, so this was my first song that I had landed, which it was called Automatic Passion. And it was written with two amazing writers, Robert Brookins. I don't know if you know who, he used to be on MCA. He recorded with Stephanie Mills too, and Tony Haynes. So they're two prolific writers. And so that was my first penmanship of a song.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess for us who don't write songs, how does it work? Do you have the melody in your head, and then and you're writing the lyrics to it, or does somebody start and you just said, "Oh, what can we add something here?" Or how does it?
Yeah, for me, it's all different. I'm just thinking about the first song I wrote. I must be me. Da, 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 da. It was like, it kind of had that kind of switch sound now that I think about it. But yeah, for me, I would have my melodies and have the verses and the chorus, or either one, and then I'd come to a keyboard player, and then they would build around my melody. So, I mean, there's different ways. And then, of course, when I wrote with Jimmy and Terry, it was the music first. With Jam would have the songs. And so it just depends. But I like when I write the melody, because I feel like I'm directing the song more the way I want it to go versus. But when you're doing up tempos, you want that groove to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to make sure that track is humping before you put your melody on. You know what I'm saying? But those are pretty much ways for me. But mainly I like to, and then a subject matter that's very strong. I learned that from, of course, Babyface and LA and Daryl. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I was, just in training, Jeff Lorber. I just been around such great artists that I'm just so blessed to just be smart enough to shut up and just, oh, really? And just to soak it in, because I was really around greats, really like the best. And I knew it. And it was just in class, just learning and watching and being available to sing backgrounds, because I had a journey as a background singer. So that helped me. O'Brien and Don Cornelius, that was a big part of my training too, being on the road with O'Brien and singing backup. And so and then just being around these incredible musicians that played for O'Brien, that wound up playing for Prince and Sheila E. So I really, so I'm just thankful, because and it all comes out when I perform live. That's why that's the best. If you haven't never seen me live, that's where you're gonna really see all my gifts, because it all comes to, I love being on stage, and I love to perform, and that's where you're gonna just get all the colors and the magic of me, because I really do have an out of body experience, and it's so fun for me. and you know, playing with the band, and they never know what I'm going to do because I like to be spontaneous. So I'm like, you guys better watch me because I mean, break it down, boom. I don't know. It depends on how the audience give me. I'm not. That's why, I mean, I'll do track shows. I know how to do them, but I definitely, like I said, that experience live is just incredible, especially if the audience is with you. It's like, oh my God, that high is incredible.
Well,
That's the best.
Well, I saw on your website, sorry, on your YouTube channel, you had you were out in South Africa singing Secret Rendezvous. That was 2019, and you had your two dancers. You were wearing green, and I was just
That one. Oh yeah, that was
blown
the rock star.
away how they were responding, and I just felt the wow, this is the benefit of a live band and a front of audience, because it just seemed like it took you to another level.
Oh yeah, and it's so, you're so right. And you know, the business really has changed because when I came out, I had a band. I never did track shows. So, and then when I come back into it later, I'm like, what? Track shows? What is this? So I had to learn it, you know, because I was like, well, how do you do it? And you know what I mean? But I finally figured out how to do it. And it's, I just made the tracks sound live. We did everything.
No, that was with a band. So the one I saw was with a band in South Africa.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was with a band.
that was with a band.
Definitely.
It was,
But
yeah.
you know, it's such a difference. So you have to just, like I said, it's, the world is different. You know, the finances, they don't want to pay for bands all the time. So I realized that I wouldn't work because I used to be like, when I first came back, you know, from being away from the industry, I thought I was gonna just have my band, and it was like I kept turning down shows because they were track shows, and I realized like you gotta start working because the world has changed. You know what I mean? They're not hiring all these, you know, musicians. You know, they figured out a way to. So we just, like I said, I work with Derek DOA Allen, and great bass player, and you know, Chucky, and you know, Booker, and all these guys. They all work together, and we put together my show.
Oh, university, right?
Yeah, the guys from university. Exactly. You know, I saw that on you had Chucky on there.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we're still trying to work out getting him on. Chucky's reluctant.
Yeah. So Chucky took my band. My guitar player Eddie M on sax, DOA Derek on
Derek, yeah, he did College Girl on the Bobby album. Okay, I know that.
Yeah. So you know, I always tell them, you know, I'm like, we gotta play together again. So I'm hoping to do something with them. You know, that'll be really exciting if Chucky will let me.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe and turn on your notification. But better still, check out our membership where you can get to watch these videos from day one, as well as our monthly meetings when we get to meet up and talk with myself and the rest of the people who are members, but also some exclusive interviews, which I don't get to broadcast. But thanks for watching and hope to see you soon. I begin to